All aboard! Welcome to the world-famous Getty Museum and Getty Center with the Conservation Institute, Research Institute, and Foundation all in one. Did you know that? Because I didn't know that was a thing there. No? You, sir? Ma'am? No?
Hi, I'm Jessie. I'm a science-y math kind of person, and yet I work at the Getty. Famous for its art and culture. Ooh, Hercules. So I decided to go on a quest to learn about art and discover all I can about becoming artsy. On the last episode, I learned about how J. Paul Getty did as the Romans once did and recreated a beautiful ancient villa, but the villa was only the beginning. In this episode, I'm getting a personal tour of the Getty Center grounds with docent Rachel. I'm also meeting with the director of the Getty Conservation Institute to talk about how the center came together over 20 years ago. But first, I want to start with a story about bugs.
You know, you don't want to bring bugs into the museum.
Oh, no.
Funny story about that. When the pandemic started in March of 2020, the museum decided to turn off all the lights. Well, when you turn off the lights and it's very quiet and there's just some dust hanging around from visitors, you know what happens. Bugs love that sort of thing. Well, insects actually. And most specifically moths, because moths love to eat upholstered things and rugs.
Oh, yeah.
So all the departments working together came up with a plan. Took the tapestries out and the upholstery, put them in the deep freeze.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
cool.
I know, that is cool, right? They were superheroes, superbug superheroes. But they missed one. And so I'm gonna show you. I don't really know how they did it. You know, it's a little bit hard to see, so I guess I can understand. Here it is.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that is huge. She got me. You got me. You got me.
This is actually a commissioned piece by the Getty. John Baldessari was commissioned to create a piece that was inspired by a piece in the Getty collection. So there's a drawing of this stag beetle by Albrecht Dürer, and Baldessari decided to take one of the smallest things in the collection and blow it up to be one of the biggest things in the collection. It's like a notice me, study me, look at me.
Yeah. Well, it's very effective.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's really cool. Okay, I have a confession. This episode was supposed to be the Jessie Learns All About the Getty Center episode, but I cannot stop thinking about that giant insect. However, the show must go on and I am a professional, so I am going to continue my quest to learn about the center by interviewing Tim Whalen, who was here when all of this was being built.
The Getty Center was built to bring all the Getty's various programs together in one place.
I didn't realize there's more than a museum.
Yeah, very much so. What happened in the early 80s is Mr. Getty's will was settled, and the trustees decided they wanted to create an organization that was more than just the museum, more than just the museum that Mr. Getty had left behind. The notion was to build a place that could accommodate all of the Getty's new activities. The museum existed, and that was the building Mr. Getty built in Malibu, the Getty Villa. The Getty Villa. This place accommodated part of Mr. Getty's collection, the paintings, French decorative arts, the decorative arts collection generally, and then the other aspects of the collection that were added, the manuscripts and photographs, all came here to the Getty Center.
Can you tell me a little bit about what each of the programs does?
The Getty is one organization, the J. Paul Getty Trust. But what animates the Getty are its 4 programs. Biggest of the 4 really is the Getty Museum. Then there's the Getty Research Institute, which houses a great art historical library. One of the activities there's a scholars program where art historians come and work, use the library and use the resources there. So you can kind of maybe think of the Research Institute as an art historical think tank. That may be one way to think about it.
Yeah.
And then over here in the East Building, which is the building across the campus here, the East Building houses 2 of the Getty programs, the Getty Foundation, which is the grant-making arm of the Getty. They're focused on things like conservation, art historical scholarship, museum presentation, and education.
Okay.
So
they give money to
Exactly.
people for
to
the art.
organizations outside of the Getty.
Okay. All
And
right.
then in that building as well is the Getty Conservation Institute, of which I'm the director.
Yay.
And we work
The science.
internationally, exactly. We work internationally to help solve questions that conservators have about how to do their work more effectively or with the newest tools and the newest science. So the four of us are very complementary, but our modalities are entirely different.
Yeah.
Tim and I talked for a while about how the Getty Center was built, from the placement of the new buildings to the mountain ridgelines replicated in the architecture.
One thing Richard Meyer wanted was to use the California sunshine and the California landscape when he built the Getty Center, and so it was really important for him with the play of light. So he used 3 different materials. He used glass, so you have a lot of views that you can look at that are framed views, and it creates this membrane effect, and you can see the landscape and see all the architecture. And the second was enameled aluminum, so it's flexible, and it also isn't too reflective. If you look at it, you're not blinded by it. And he was able to create curves that mimic the California coastline. The third and most exciting material is the beautiful travertine. And the stone comes from the same quarry in Italy that was used, where the stone came from to build the Colosseum and to build ancient Rome.
Wow. So it's old.
Yes, it's probably between 8,000 and 80,000 years old, this stone that comes from this quarry.
Came all the way from Italy
All the way from Italy.
to here.
Yes.
Wow.
This was
How did they get it all here?
got it on boats.
Well, that makes sense.
Boats. And there are 300,000 travertine blocks. Travertine is a common building material, and it's normally cut this way and then highly polished. But you can see that there are striations here, or layers. Richard Meyer had this idea that if you split along the clefts, which are the layers, and open up the rock, you would get this incredible texture.
Well, like a geode.
Exactly.
You crack it open and
Yes.
then it's kind of craggy and rocky.
You can take a person out of the science world, but you can't take the love of geology out of a person. Or the amateur paleontologist.
Oh, look, there's leaves.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Or the budding entomologist. I'm beginning to learn that the art world is about so much more than just art. Like the Getty Center, it's also a place of knowledge, science, and collaboration.
The benefit is being near all of our colleagues. If you want to go check out a book, you just walk over to the GRI and get it, That's what this place was built for, to accommodate that kind of exchange between the various staff who are executing the work of the Getty.
So it turns out I'm not completely out of my element. After all, libraries, science laboratories, I've worked in both. I've even worked for museums, just not art museums. But I do have art in my house. Although, yes, it's all kind of science themed. And suddenly, I understand why I am so drawn to a giant insect in the lobby. A work of art completely outside of the museum galleries. It is symbolic of the center and of me. It brings together a love of both science and art. Just like me, this piece feels somehow both entirely out of place and also exactly where it's supposed to be.
Is there a work of art at the Getty, or any work of art really, that especially resonates with you? If so, we would love to hear your story. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Becoming Artsy.